One of the big things too that I read in your book and that I've heard from countless guests, and I've had to learn the hard way, is you talk about not setting score goals. So why is it important to not set a score goal for when you go out? Because I have so many people that I've coached and have listened to the podcast. I'm like, I want to shoot 79. I want to, break par. And I'm like, rewind. Why should people not set score goals?
So I'll separate the question into score goals and then goals. So score goals, the big problem with that is, and if you get my book and read it, it's all about staying away from result-oriented thinking and get back to just doing your process. And all the studies show that you accomplish your goal, not by thinking about the goal every day when you get up, but by chipping away at those pieces that will get you closer and closer to that goal. And even the most insurmountable goal can be accomplished if you just chip away at it, no matter how long it takes, and do, step 1 through 27 to get to that goal. Just don't think about step number 27 yet. Think about number 2, number 3, number 4. So I would say that thinking in terms of a goal generically is okay, but then breaking it down to pieces that can get you to that goal. And again, that's not my idea. That's been around for a long time, but it's worked really well for me in golf. The other thing is on score goals, I think they're really a bad idea. Now, I've got a young man from University of Houston, Austin Riley. He and I've kind of mentor and work with him. And he said, what can you tell me? He's trying to qualify for the U.S. Open, I guess it is, stage 1. And I said, well, look, don't pick a score, because again, that's result-oriented thinking. You make a bogey and you think, oh crap, now I've got to make a birdie. I've got to shoot 68 today or whatever. All that is result-oriented thinking, and it's a killer to your process because it just destroys your process. Everything you're doing, yes, I have a goal of, I'd love to shoot a 68 if I can get one, but the reality is that while you're playing, you're much better off not putting that extra pressure on you to, if you get a couple over par, all of a sudden now, oh, I'm out of it. You just got to go play the best you can, add scores up at the end. But I think it's a mistake to pick a score, particularly for qualifying, because that's the result oriented thinking, not the process. A story I told last time, I think it's a really interesting story. Kenny Perry is playing in the Masters. He had 2 things he wanted to do. One, I'm not going to look at scoreboards, which is kind of what we're talking about, picking a score. And I'm going to be what he called conservative. What was it? Aggressively. What was it? He wanted to be
aggressive. Yes. Conservative approach, but swinging aggressively.
So basically, be aggressive when you can, but then back off when you need to. So anyway, he's the last round. He's hits at 6 inches on 16. The last day, has not looked at a scoreboard all week. He's not worried about the score, per se. First time he's walking from 16 green 17, looks up the scoreboard. He's got a 2-stroke lead, 2 more holes to play. Tells his caddy par, and we win the Masters. And so, and how do you avoid that? Really, it's really difficult to not do that. But he, by his own admission, said that he flipped from just doing my process, patiently aggressive, to all of a sudden, holy crap, I'm going to win the Masters. And that's just death, because it's result-oriented thinking. It's picking a goal, and not if he had said, well, let's just go par. Let's just do, as opposed to, all I got to do, I can get my goal. I can accomplish my goal now if I just do this, instead of just doing what he knew he needed to do. And we all know he went bogey, and Angel Cabrera beat him in a playoff where he made another bogey. And so even the greatest players, he was, $37 million on tour. He was known as the best player to never have won a major. Even the greatest players like Kenny Perry slips up and gets him. And I tell people in my book, I said, look, you can't prevent all those thoughts from coming in. You just have to recognize them when you get them and go, uh-oh, it's canceled. Forget that. Let's just get back on track. And I think he could have saved it if he'd recognized what damage he was doing by thinking about being a master champion before he'd actually got it to the house.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I feel like people think that you get to this like Zen master level of, mindfulness, that you just don't have those thoughts, when in reality, Tiger's probably had those thoughts, but then he is able to catch them, or any great player, catch them, be like, okay, and then you let that thought go by, and then we go right back to our process, right back to the next shot. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, don't feel like if you have those, your mind's broken, right? It's natural to do that. Even Kenny Perry did that, and I'm sure so many other golfers have done that. So recognize it and then get back to the process, which you obviously talk about a lot.
When you meditate, they teach you you're not going to, people may have a misconception of meditation. You meditate, you're supposed to watch those thoughts sort of enter and just kind of come by like passing traffic, not say, oh, they don't exist or I'm not meditating. Meditate just fine. You just sort of, you acknowledge them, but you ignore them. In golf, when you have these results like Kenny Perry had the Master, I'm going to win the Masters. You got to say, whoa, recognize that's a killer thought. And I gotta just get back. I'm going to do my breaths. I'm going to get back to the present, and I'm going to get my T-ball. That's all I'm worried about right now. My